Our good friend Travis Kalanick is in the news, and why not go out on Amazon, buy the new book, Super Pumped, The Battle for Uber by Mike Isaac. I will leave the link underneath the video. Ranges like $15 on Kindle, right up to I think $21 on hard book version. I always prefer the hard book version. Now, a lot of interesting things here. He liked to be called T-Bone, right? Put a nice juicy T-Bone over here to give you a visual. That's what they wanted him to call him. And he also wanted to be known as the Wolf, the Fixer. And he got that whole idea from his obsession with pulp fiction. All of that information is in this book. I ordered it. It's on the way. Sure, I would like to know things about Travis Kalanick, the guy behind Uber. And so let's read up a little bit here. So Uber's ousted founder, Travis Kalanick, would like you to call him T-Bone. Found that rather interesting, right? Let's see. Before Uber, Travis Kalanick fancied himself as a fixer and idolized Winston Wolfe from Tarantino's Pulp Fiction. The eventual founder and CEO even has a Twitter account under the moniker Conat Bone for musings and drunken thoughts. Interesting. Those anecdotes, among many others, are revealed in Super Pumped, The Battle for Uber, which was published Tuesday. I'm sure he's not all too happy about that. In the days before Uber, Travis Kalanick wasn't much different than other San Francisco Bay Area entrepreneurs, except that he was fresh off a $20 million exit and had a penchant for pulp fiction. I did not know that. In a sparsely furnished apartment in the city's Castro district, I know it well, Kalanick sought to become a fixer, reports Mike Isaac in Super Pumped, The Battle for Uber, published Tuesday. But it wasn't just any fixer that Kalanick, fresh off a sale of his second company, Red Swoosh, envisioned. His idol became none other than Winston Wolfe from Pulp Fiction. Yeah, interesting. Kalanick started investing small amounts of money in various startups with the understanding that he'd be available as their own personal fixer, willing to swoop in and solve problems whenever a founder needed his help. Isaac writes in the new book, got a problem with an agitated investor, the Wolf can handle it. Don't know the first thing about hiring new engineers, just call the Wolf. Maybe you have late night thoughts on your company's next move and want to talk it out. Never fear, the Wolf is here. Sounds like the big bad wolf. Opting for at least some difference from the Tarantino character, Kalanick had a different nickname in mind, Isaac reports. He even set up a Twitter account, Kona T-Bone, for musings and controversial aphorisms. The account is now private with 30 followers. Let's see. Accessed via the Wayback Machine, show a simpler time in Kalanick's life. Another one here. Interesting. Remember this picture when he was in the car and he was crapping all over that driver, and the driver had it on the dash cam and then put it out there for the world to see. I remember Travis caught a ton of flack over this and then, try to make the wrong right by paying him the money back. Travis, while you're at it, write me a $250,000 check and I'll show you why. I'm a terrible person inside. Inside ousted Uber CEO's Travis Kalanick's tantrum in a fellow executive's townhouse when he realized it was all over, right? That damning video of the Uber founder Travis Kalanick berating a driver surfaced at the worst possible time for the company. The clip hit the internet minutes after the team learned that a survey had found that people already thought the CEO was a toxic influence on the company. Amid verbal fights with his deputies, Kalanick writhed around on the floor of an executive San Francisco townhouse. Mike Isaac writes in Super Pumped, a new book out this week about Uber's first 10 years. That must be interesting. I can't wait to read it. In February 2017, Uber executives huddled in the hallway near a conference room of San Francisco's four-star Le Méridien Hotel. They were there to come up with a game plan, Mike Isaac writes in Super Pumped, the battle for Uber, released this week, and it needed to be a good one. Not only had the group just seen the results of a damning survey, it found, Isaac wrote, that people enjoyed using Uber as a service, but that when its founder and CEO Travis Kalanick was brought up, customers recoiled. But a video had just surfaced that would become a major piece of Kalanick's fall from grace. The four executives huddled around the laptop with Kalanick kneeling on the floor in front of the chair. They watched as a grainy dashcam video began playing. Shot from inside an Uber, the video shows a driver with 3 passengers, 2 women and a man. Travis Kalanick sandwiched in between them in the back seat. I remember it all too well. The clip of Kalanick berating a driver who blamed the executive for lowering pay spread like wildfire. Well, that was back then. Can you imagine what that same driver would be saying right now? We should compare rates from then to now. Reaching well beyond Bloomberg and onto local TV newscasts around the country, as well as to Business Insider. Some people don't like to take responsibility for their own shit. Kalanick can be heard shouting in the video. Really? When Rachel Whetstone, Uber's head of public relations at the time, suggested that Kalanick stick to Uber's in-house communications team instead of hiring an outside PR firm, Isaac wrote, Kalanick went berserk. You two aren't strategic or creative enough to help us get out of this situation, he said. The room was silent as Kalanick's insult hung in the air. Whetstone and Hazelbaker had enough. The two of them stood up, gathered their belongings, and walked out of the room. Later, around pizza and beer in the San Francisco townhouse of Jill Hazelbaker, now the company's senior vice president of marketing, communications, and public policy, morale didn't get much better. Meanwhile, Kalanick continued his theatrics, writhing around on Hazelbaker's carpet. Kalanick kept repeating the same thing over and over. I'm a terrible person, I'm a terrible person, I'm a terrible person. Eventually, the team came up with a press statement, an apology from Kalanick that was also posted on the company's blog. 4 months later, Kalanick would resign. That and so much more from Super Pumped. Super pumped. I'm super pumped to get the book. I like, when you look at the Pulp Fiction movie, the Tarantino, it says that you're the person people turn to when things go south. Your level head and ability to fix life's most urgent and complicated problems make you an asset in just about any situation. Words to live by. If I'm curt with you, it's because time is a factor. I think fast, I talk fast, and I need you guys to act fast if you want to get out of this, right? So we know those situations. Look, the way I see Travis Kalanick, and anyone and everyone screws up in life. Nobody's perfect, right? You learn from this. You stop judging other people. You remove yourself from your ego. I think Travis has done a lot of that. He's filthy rich. He never has to worry again. But I'm sure deep down Travis has worked on himself a lot over the years after this incident. I think this must have been his biggest wake-up call in life. I also see him as a massive, massive pioneer who started a whole new rideshare revolution, right? That's Gio's name right there, rideshare revolution, right? That being said, he changed the industry of the taxi business, just like Airbnb changed the industry of hotels. So in my eyes, he's a pioneer. In my eyes, he's not perfect, but I don't see him as the big negative that many people see him. And by him coming out and making that wrong right, again, I just hope Uber would spend a phone call with me on the phone and understand how many wrongs they can make right. I could give them a laundry list of things within the company that they could make right. So if they were, if they wanted to follow a model of changing things around, being the true fixers, not the sort of like Godfather Mafia fixer type, but the actual real fixers, do reach out. I'd love to have a phone call with you. And although my name is Torsten and also starts with a T, I don't call myself T-Bone. Have a great day.